Yes, guys, welcome. It's another episode of Fight Talk Live. It's Sadness in Glory with Danny Glover. It's October Red. It's Base the Kid. You know where it is. How you doing today?
Ah,
All good, all good.
hey, your peeps. Uh, we shall put you here as the host for today.
Good afternoon, good evening. How you all doing? I'm doing fine. I'm tired. I'm tired. That's what I am. I'm good. I'm glad to be here with you guys, but I'm knackered. It's been it's been an interesting full weekend of boxing. So yeah, I suppose we better get cracking and start off with it. Easier to start off with the matchroom card. Start off with that. To be fair, I only did the top two fights. That's where I started the watch along from, which was Ishmael Davis versus Kievan Ajako, and then obviously Donovan Crocker. Um, that was a good fight between Davis and Ajako, in my opinion. I enjoyed it very much. They both started off very quick. What I noticed is that Ishmael's absolutely huge compared to Kievan. However, he made a good account of himself. I think there was a little bit of discrepancy over who won. I thought Kievan got it, but I guess some people were saying that Ishmael got it. Whatever. I've left the score into the pros in the comments because I can't be asked. To me, it just looked like Kievan won. He was busy. He was more composed. I think Ish is still quite green in my opinion. He was switch stancing, but he had problems with his balance when it come to the southpaw. I think he's probably naturally orthodox. Once again, he was going square on with his feet and with his punches. His back leg was going off the floor. He was like lunging into his shots, where Kievan, to me, just seemed more neat, more composed, purposeful with his shots, albeit his eye was practically hanging out by the end of the fight, which, to be fair to Ish, he was able to capitalize on. But yeah, it was a good fight. But I do like Kievan with Swifty Smith. I like it. They work together. It's nice. Um, so yeah, congratulations to him, I guess, and commiserations to young Ish, which he's got plenty of time. He'll come again. You know, that was a good fight for him. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, but Ishmael, he's had a few good opportunities now.
Mm.
Unfortunately, he seems to always come up short so far. Um, he actually, I know he's from Leeds, and actually he looks and his fighting style does remind me of Nick Manners, who is also from Leeds.
Oh, okay. I've
Um,
never seen him box.
yeah, he boxed Joe Calzaghe back in the day, and he won the Central Area title as well back in the day. So yeah, but Ishmael massive for the weight, but I think that style. He started off well in the first round, hitting Kyron Agiarco.
Kievan,
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 Kievan. It's because it spelled so
Kievan.
funny. It's hard to pronounce.
Irish
So
names.
yes, Kievan. He was hitting him like with some chopping shots and stuff, and Kievan was like, he looked like he was a bit wobbled in the first round, moving off and stuff. And then even the second round, Ishmael was doing well, but then afterwards, it's like I don't know, he just was one paced, and Aguiarco then started to find his rhythm, find his groove, started to use his amateur pedigree and land sort of combinations upstairs and downstairs. But what I did notice, I called it early on, is that anytime Ishmael was landing punches, the commentators were saying nothing, and then Aguiarco would like land a shot or even just throw a shot which would get blocked, and they're like, "Oh, great work!" And he's making Davis look silly. He's making him miss. I'm like, this is some bias commentary. Like the fix is in already, and then it's only when what was it? Something happened in particular, and then that's when I think he got wobbled, and that's when they finally, no, that's it. They started showing the
The
punch
eye.
stats. They started showing the punch
Mm.
stats. The punch stats had Ishmael up on the punch stats, so that's when they started going. Oh, then they started. started to be fair in the commentary. Yes, Ishmael Davis then sold up his eye very badly. Sold
Mm.
up Kievan's eye badly. It's so hard to say this name. And then yeah, but after a while, it just seems 2-1 pace for someone who's that big. I don't think he uses his power to the best of his ability. When he lands his jab, is a very stiff ramrod jab. But other than that, the right hand and things like that, there was no real power in it. Yeah, sometimes it bothered Kievan, but it wasn't ever devastating. Where Kievan was able to throw some like whipping shots that wasn't really hurting Ishmael, but it was very scoring shots, and so a couple of them clipped him where he did feel him and he backed off a bit. Um, Towards the end of the fight, they started having a bit of a trade off, but yeah, I did think that um, Aguiarco did win the fight. The knockdown in the last round, I know Aguiarco was very paranoid, thinking, "Oh, it's close. Like this could cost me the fight," but thankfully it didn't. It was it a knockdown? Technically, it was because
Yeah,
he
I
got
think it
hit with
was. He
two
just
shots.
tripped and he tripped over his legs.
Yeah, he got hit with two shots and he went over. And rules are rules at the end of the day. If it was an off balance issue, but it was still a knockdown because you got hit with two shots before you went down. So yeah, but Ishmael, he's gonna have to learn from this. Hopefully, he doesn't become some kind of gatekeeper measuring stick for people. But Aguiarco, he's what 17, 18 and 0. He's
Mm.
racking up the wins very nicely. So I think it's time for him to sort of step up the level of competition because he's had enough fights now and he hasn't really gone in there with a serious name thus far.
Mm.
Yeah, I think Ishmael Davis has found his level. For me, to be honest, I've liked the way he's fought for or at least I liked the potential that I saw in him prior to the Josh Kelly fight. But even then, I still had concerns, and one of the biggest concerns I have with him is this constant switching because he does it like 6 or 7 times within the same round. Like
Mhm.
if you're switching stances that much, you're not getting the opportunity to set feet, find your openings, and execute on those openings. Because if you're in the moment of switching, now you can't get to throw that lead hand. You can't get to shoot that back, the backhand with enough power behind it. Because now
Mm.
your feet ain't planted. You're constantly in a reset mode, and at this point, it feels more like it's like a nervous thing more than anything else. Because
Okay.
sometimes he's having some really good success, and then he just moves over, causes himself a problem, and then when you think he's about to have some decent success in that moment, then he moves back over, and then it's like he can never sustain any offense or any domination
Mm.
within a round. Um, that's one thing. Second thing, he's I don't know if 154 is the weight class for him. Like, yes, he's visibly bigger than everyone, but he clearly doesn't have a gas tank to be
The
boiling
muscles.
down to 154. I reckon
Mm.
he's probably got to move up to 160, which therefore poses even more problems because he's not the tallest of guys. Yes, he's got a very sort of wide, wide body. Like he's got muscles
Mm.
on muscles, but very skinny legs. And I think you saw in there, Kevin Najarko had the stronger legs. He was able
Mm.
to move constantly throughout the fight because he had the stronger legs. He had the more spring, the thicker calves, and just generally speaking, he had better body proportions.
Mm.
These are all things that are very kind of telling within the game. And then those last rounds when you think, okay, so Ishmael Davis was landing, I didn't even feel like he was landing that much. When I saw those punch stats, I thought to myself, I think the day was having a laugh, if I'm gonna be honest. There was no point where I felt that he was outlanding Kevin Ajarko in the early rounds. Yes, he may have been more accurate because he wasn't throwing as much, but he definitely wasn't outlanding. He
Mm.
wasn't doing enough. to make the rounds his. And anytime he had success, it's almost like he was admiring his work and thinking, all right, well, I'm just gonna hang back now. Now that I've got a couple shots, and I'm gonna hang back and I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna try and tire you out and see if I can wear you down the stretch. But guess what? Who ended up looking more tired at the end of the fight?
Yeah, for real.
Bear in mind that you're not having to move on the back foot. You're not having to circle the ring. All you're doing is
Mm.
moving forward. So there's a conditioning issue there that needs to be addressed if he's gonna carry on and do anything like of note. But at this point in time, yes, he took a couple opportunities and he's like, look, coming from where I've come from, I've already won in life, and I get all of that. But based on what he said he wanted out of his career, it appears as if he's getting nowhere fast, because that's 3 losses on the bounce, 2 of which were of your own making. You could have won 2 of those fights legitimately had you have done things done things different, and that's not even taking into account the short notice of the last 2. But at this point, he's looking very much like a gatekeeper to the British level, and that's not where you want to be. So as much as I want to see the Black Panther do well, he's got some big changes that he needs to make, in my opinion.
With
I thought the Black Panther was Kevin.
No,
nah,
it's
he's
that
fun.
Thunder.
Oh yeah,
We
Thunder.
got Thunder. We got Thunder and Panther, man. Where you been, Danny? But
So,
yeah, I agree. And like I said, the switch stance is just shoulder out the feet, square on. Like you said, he's only coming forward. Kievan was moving around the ring nicely. And the thing is, you're on about biased commentary, Danny. But at the end of the day, it's Ish that's like more a matchroom fighter. Kievan's not with Matchroom. He's like the free agent. So I don't know where that come from. I know he was formerly with Queensbury. So if Frampton was on the comms, he might have took a little bit of a shining to him or whatever. But he's not signed as such because I think Matchroom let him go.
okay. Well, maybe
So
because he was the Irish fighter, maybe.
maybe, maybe. But it was still a good fight, exciting fight. And at least the only thing, the credit I will give to Ish is the fact that he's kept on peppering that eye. He knew how to get to it, and that's a credit to him because obviously we've seen that with some fighters and that they haven't been able to get back to it when they've opened it up or they've got that target. So fair play to him because he kept on going for it. Because by the end of that fight, and even the doctor, I thought, is the doctor going to stop this on that eye because it was practically hanging out. Nasty injury that was. But yeah. But before we go on, I've got to say, and Danny and Base, you've probably got more when it comes to the statistics. I've got to say condolences to Ricky Hatton, who unfortunately passed away or was found at his family home deceased this morning. I think it was 6:45 a.m. Ricky Hatton, born October the 6th, it's the day after my birthday. Didn't quite get to his 47th birthday, but achieved so much. I've seen some videos going around with him and the Mayweather at the press conference. His wit, his gall, the way that he had no fear in his heart. So I just wanted to say condolences to him. You know, rest in peace to him. Sorry, condolences to the family, loved ones, friends, all that he had an impact on a lot of lives. So rest in peace for him. And I'm going to leave it over to you guys because I know you guys will probably be able to speak about fights that he's had, memorable times. And obviously, he put the UK on the map.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did indeed. I remember when I first saw Ricky Hatton box, I was 14 years old. I saw him on TV on an undercard, on an American card. I can't remember off the top of my head the fight he was boxing, but I remember he'd done the guy with a body shot, and it was about 2 months before I just got carded. It was 2 months before my first bout, my first amateur bout.
Oh,
And I remember seeing it. I was thinking, wow, that's, because everyone usually likes to go for the highlight reel headhunt shot. So I thought, oh, let me try this in sparring. I tried it, the step over body shot to the body, and the guy went down. Like my gym mate went down, Daniel Narain. Then I did it on another guy, Sean Watts, and he went down. I was like, rah, this actually works. So then in the bout now, I fought a guy from Crawley called Jason. the Rock Lock, and I remember I picked up. I was on the. I thought that I was landing some great hooks, but when you look back on the video, it's like slapping punches to the head. But one of them's turned over and caught him. He's gone in the corner. I've hit him with like several left hooks to the body, and then he's turned to the refs like pushed me back, and then the guy's gone. I can't breathe, and it was over in 60 seconds. So yeah, I was like, so great credit to Ricky Hatton, and also I actually boxed in front of Ricky Hatton um, against. Barry Buchanan from Hastings, and he awarded me gloves and a trophy at the end. I've put the picture up
Yeah, I
on my
saw that on your
stories, but
IG.
yeah, and he was like
Mm,
a guest speaker and did like a commentary sort of thing, not a commentary, like a comedy thing. Like he was
mm.
known for going around doing comedy tours, and he had loads of jokes and stuff. Really nice guy. Spoke to him. He had a lot of banter. Yeah, I remember him boxing Vince Phillips, Costa Zhu, um, yeah, John Faxton, yeah, many big nights, and many people who might be new to boxing, when they go around to arenas, stadiums, and they or even weigh-ins, and they hear things like for a fighter, there's only one Johnny Fisher,
That
one
comes. That's
Johnny.
his chance, isn't it?
Yeah, they have to know that that started with Ricky Hatton. So in history to come, when we have the new kids, coming who are probably 5 years old now, that'll probably still going, and that'll be a history lesson that, or nice in a pub quiz that started
Mm.
from Ricky Hatton. When he went over to Vegas, he brought most of the fans to the MGM Grand.
Is it 1,000 fans or something?
That was more than 1,000. It was
Something crazy brought over from the
yeah,
UK.
probably about 10,000 people or something like that. So Mayweather didn't know what hit him when they all got into town. So yeah, only lost to the best guys: Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. No shame in that. World champion in two weight classes, light welterweight and welterweight. Beat guys like Luis Collazo, um, Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, great legend. We know that after the limelight, it is hard for some fighters, and hopefully, he's in a better place now. His son, he was training even up to the other day when me and Base went to the all women's card in Earl's Court. He had a fighter, the European champion. I forgot her name off the top of my head. You would probably know, you remember it, Base. She lost in the to the girl who looks like the Spice Girl,
Spice Girl.
the one
Not Chloe Watson.
yeah, that's it, Chloe Watson, and she boxed
She
that.
don't look like a Spice Girl.
No,
Oh, you
not
mean
boxing.
Sopanechka?
Yeah, her. Yeah,
Not sorry.
yeah, Zopanechka. So yeah, he was, yeah, because I remember at the public workout near mine in the Bronx
That's where
gym.
I met him.
Yeah, at the Bronx gym, yeah. So yeah, he was training fighters up until even recently. Son Campbell, boxing.
Mm.
His brother Matthew Hatton boxed on many of his undercards, made a good living, even won the European title in the end. So yes, rest in power, champ. Great memories.
For the purpose of time, I will keep all of my comments to when I actually do the weekend wrap. But yes, condolences to the family, Campbell, Matthew, the missus, everyone within the Hatton family. Hope they are going to be able to heal and heal as quickly as possible, but also be given all the time and space and privacy they need to get through this difficult time.
Yeah, for sure. Mental health matters, ladies and gentlemen. Especially, I'm not going to be biased, but I am. I'm going to say men, especially as well. I don't know the circumstances of his death. However, I will say that male mental health. You guys really need to look out for each other and look after each other and look out for yourself. We're going to move on, guys, with the American cards. Obviously, Canelo Crawford. I will say that I only watched that fight. So if there's any fights that you want to pick out that you've watched, because I'm gutted that I missed Jermaine Franklin. I wanted to see what he was about. I saw like an apology post, but he got a win, whatever. But I only watched the main event. So were there any fights on that card that you stayed up and watched that clearly Madam here didn't?
Do you not want to do Crocker first, or are you
Oh
saving
my
that
gosh,
to?
yeah, sorry. You see what I mean? My head's all over the place. This is what happens, base, when I don't get any sleep. This is exactly what happens. And this is why I don't do late night lives. Yes, Crocker Donovan, I do apologize. That fight did not go how I expected it to go, as in the fight itself. Um, they both came out very, very tentative, feeling each other out, and it almost took about 3 or 4 rounds for them to warm up. However, I did like, and it looks like Crocker had a game plan. I was trying to suss it out when I was on my live. It just seemed as if he was almost playing possum to get Donovan to come in so he could catch him coming in with certain shots. If you listen to the corner, Billy Nelson was continuously telling him to throw like an uppercut and the overhand, that he was telling him that was the shot to get him with, which his plan seemed to work. You could see the frustration from Paddy, who when it comes to like the punch output, he was 100% there with the punch output compared to Crocker. But it's like Crocker was just waiting for certain shots to pull off to be able to, obviously he got the 2 knockdowns from him, didn't he? To Paddy Donovan's frustration, his corner was telling him, listen, basically just box, just keep on boxing and moving. They were telling him he was down on the cards. Andy Lee was telling him that because of those knockdowns, he was going to have to really start to put some work in. But yeah, a good fight, not as entertaining as Davis Ajarko. But it just seemed as if the Team Crocker had a game plan. They stuck to it and it worked. I'm not going to be here about the scorecards and the whoever won, whatever. It is what it is. I would have thought Paddy would have won because of his punch output was more, but I don't know how it scored when obviously somebody gets knocked down. Guys, I'll leave the rest over to you.
Yeah. Wait, what was I about to say? Yeah. So look, I think that, in my opinion, the wrong person won. But what I do want to say is Lewis Crocker impressed me in the first half of the fight because I did not see a way that he would be able to change and adapt. Looking at just his style, how he fights everyone, he's a textbook come forward pressure fighter who doesn't actually have as much power as maybe he should have for that kind of style. So when I was doing my breakdowns, I'm doing my predictions, I couldn't see a way that he would be able to win outside of maybe more errors or fouls and stuff from Donovan. But I did expect him to be better. I said that there's no way that he could be any worse than he was in the first fight. But in the first half of the fight, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, look, it was a very basic move he was kind of doing, which was just keeping the lead hand out, trying to just keep the lead hand busy of Donovan from the southpaw stance. But doing that, hanging back, not going forward, forcing Paddy Donovan to have to initiate was very clever because Paddy Donovan is very much a quote unquote a slick textbook counterpuncher. He likes to let you come to him so that he can work and he can find his angles. So for him having to come forward and initiate, he just wasn't really comfortable doing it, especially not early when Crocker was still sort of there live and just working through things. Initially, the first knockdown, all I saw was the punch that Donovan landed, so I didn't even really see the sweeping hook until the replay. So I wasn't sure if it was a pull down or if it was a natural shot. Seeing the replay, it was good. He countered him, suckered him into it, and obviously he went down, but back up. He looked obviously a bit disheveled and a bit upset by that. Second one, there was no controversy in that one. A brilliant counter shot by Crocker, but unfortunately it's a shot that he throws so often. This is probably the first time he actually threw it with any kind of semblance of technique and craftiness. It's a shot he normally just lets go, and it just always looks slovenly, and he just looks off balance when he's doing it. But this one hit the mark. Crocker goes down, knee touches down, glove touches down, back up. And luckily for him, it was the end of the round because his leg looked a little bit funny towards the end there. But he came back into it after that, and then from the sort of the second half of the fight, Lewis Crocker, he couldn't stay in that character. He started to revert to type, and then he started going forward with the, using the high guard, trying to sort of catch and parry shots, which is when
Yeah.
Paddy Donovan started to just have even more success than he was having earlier. Almost every round, as far as I'm concerned, from like round 7 onwards, was all Donovan. So then it's about how did you score the rounds prior to that? And in the majority of them, it was just a case of Crocker was doing enough to stop Donovan from working, but he wasn't doing enough for me to really say that he was actually
He's winning.
winning the rounds.
Mm, mm.
So, while I was watching it, I scored the fight 112, 114 to Donovan. 8 rounds to 4. Obviously, with the 2 knockdowns, the 2 points sort of give him that. There is a potential, at best for me, you maybe could give Crocker one additional round to make the fight a draw. Like I said, he did a lot better, and I'm not going to necessarily begrudge him the victory, being in Belfast and obviously what happened in the previous fight. I can't see the 7 rounds, but it's not the worst, case that I've seen. But I know one of it was trying to work out the scorecards, or was seemed a bit tricky, because it looked as if at some point two of the judges didn't score one of the knockdowns, because the way that the rounds were scored, unless there were several 10-10s in there that they didn't show prior, it was very tricky to kind of work out what rounds they were giving where. I definitely would like to see the scorecards on that, because that would sort of clear things up. But look, Lewis Crocker, he got the victory. Congratulations to him. But the welterweight division currently is in a pretty dire state. So all it takes is one person now, I think, can basically clean up that entire division and just rule over it until the next crop of 140 pounders come up.
Who have we got at 140?
No, 147.
147? Is Conor
Well, I'm
Walker
not
at
referring to. I'm
147?
not thinking about the UK particular, but there's Conor Ben. Is supposedly, if he decides to go back down there,
Yeah.
you've got
Mario
Conor Walker
Barrios.
147.
Mario Barrios.
Conor Walker, is he 147?
Yeah.
Or am I tripping? Oh, he
He's
is.
147. But there's also
Pat McCormack then.
no. What's the Paddy? What's the Queensbury guy? Oh, is it O'Reilly? Oh,
O'Leary.
that's the
With the
one.
glasses.
Pierce O'Leary.
Yeah.
I think
Pierce
he's
O'Leary, yeah.
140. I think he might be 140, but he's obviously due to move up at some point. But
Mm.
either way, look, if Devin Haney gets through Brian Norman Jr., then quite frankly, I think he can clean up the entire 147 division, because it is not very, very deep at the moment, at any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Go for it, Danny. So, what was your take on it?
Yeah, my take on it. I was at the first fight, and Lewis Crocker, he got bruck up. So going into this second one, like most people are thinking, how's he? He's probably going to get stopped a lot earlier now, because the only reason why he won is because of the fouls and the DQ. So I didn't see any way, in the build up, he was talking like, he sounded a bit. He was talking down, like humble, like low on himself. But
It was possum, man. It was
yeah,
a game.
Paddy Donovan said, "Oh, he's trying to play mind games. Surely he can't be
Game.
really thinking this." So round one's come out. He's very, as you said, very tentative, being very defensively responsible, waiting, luring Paddy Donovan in. And the thing is, in the second round, he caught Paddy with a hook, but Paddy fell into him, which
Yeah, he did.
fell into him. So that's what it didn't send him over. But in the third round now, he's hit him with that hook as he's come in, and I'm like, rah. And
I thought it was an overhand.
Yeah, it was the overhand. The overhand hook, and he's like, he looked at the ref like, fair enough. I did get hit. I did get dropped. But people are looking like, oh, was it? But because that was a camera angle. But when you see on the replay, you see it was a shot
You
that
see
took him
it clean, yeah.
I thought, oh, wait, hold on here. To me, it's like Billy Nelson, because this fight was really a Celtic warrior fight because it's you know a Northern Ireland versus an Irishman, and then an Irishman in a coach versus a Scotsman. So Billy Nelson had drived up a plan to use Andy Lee's tactics of his style against his fighter because the way Lewis Crocker was fighting reminded
Defensive.
me exactly how Andy Lee used to fight. Be defensive, lure you in, and then turn your lights out as you walk in. He done that on a couple of
Yeah,
occasions.
yeah.
Most famously against that guy Jackson, but he hit a couple of guys and sent them out. And then in the sixth round, when he's hitting with the big, bomb, which has sent him over, and then he's got up on shaky legs, I thought,
Mm.
wow, he's really using the Andy Lee style against him. And but really, in round seven, yeah, it was the end of the round, and he got saved by the bell like Zach Morris. But at the beginning of round seven, Crocker should have went for it. Yeah, you want to try and be disciplined, but as I think Carl Frampton
Blood.
at the end,
Smell the blood.
at least try for the first 20 seconds to see if the fog is gone or it's not. And if he has recovered, then yeah, you go back to what you're
Mm.
doing. But you got to at least try and you know ambush him a bit. But
Mm.
he was boxing too disciplined, and then he's just not throwing enough punches. Similar to what Ishmael Davis's issue was towards the end of the fight, he wasn't throwing enough punches for me. Yes, Paddy Donovan wasn't landing anything big, but it was a lot of tippy tappy shots. But he's racking up the CompuBox numbers, and Crocker's really just looking for the home run money shot. He hit him with it
Mm.
in I think about round 8, which sent spray off his head. Um, but apart from that, he didn't really land anything other than that after that. And Paddy Donovan just took over the fight, and I had it scored 115, 112 in the end for Paddy
With the
Donovan. Two
knockdowns.
knockdowns, yeah. I had it 115,
Okay.
112 to Paddy Donovan
Mm.
because I gave Crocker the last round as well. Um, yeah, so but Crocker got the victory, But as I see guys like, I know he called out Conor Ben, said that he wants a
He
big
did.
stadium fight with him. Conor Ben, I think, will beat him. Brian Norman would beat him, so he's the low hanging fruit champion now. But he's changed his life. I've heard a story of where he come from. He was, in a bad place money wise, but now that's all uh, gone now. So well done to him. And
Mm.
yeah, it was a great night of boxing. It looked like a very exciting stadium. So yeah,
Crowd.
good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they look like they're packed out that stadium.
Mm.
Yeah, move over to America. Like I said, I'm gonna ask you guys what fights you watched because I only watched the main event.
I only watched the main event as well because I woke up and Canelo just literally stepped through the rope.
Yeah,
So I watched Boachuk and Brandon Adams. That was a good fight. Brandon Adams exceeded my expectations in that. I thought Boachuk would actually go through and finish the job that he did in the first fight before he got knocked out. Brandon Adams actually beat him at his own game, beat him up on the inside,
interesting.
managed to beat him up on the
Interesting.
outside as well.
He's tough as
Boachuk
hell,
now has a
then.
third loss on his record. So I
Mm.
guess we're going to have to see where he goes from here. He might have to move up, though. I think he's definitely struggling to make that weight. But Brandon Adams might have just revived his career for one or two last paydays. So congratulations to him. I watched it, but I was kind of watching it in the background. But Ivan Dachko and Jermaine Franklin was an awful fight. Uh,
Was it?
it was, yeah. And Jermaine
Mm.
Franklin was in awful shape, but
Oh,
somehow
Oh
he managed to
no.
get a decision on the cards, even though I don't think anyone in the arena, apart from the judges, could see how he won that.
what
Um,
did he weigh?
Mm.
I can't remember what he was weighing, but he was looking very, very big in the belly. Like it
Mm.
was like you remember the shape he came in for Dillian White on sort of short
Yeah,
notice, then he got into
yeah.
really pretty good shape for AJ. Yeah, he reverted
Mm.
all the way back to before those fights. Like
Oh, these
it
people
was it
getting money
wasn't it
for
wasn't a good fight to watch at all. But I don't know how they scored that fight to him. But well done. At least that maybe saves him for the potential Moses Atama fight that he seems to want. So um yeah, there was that. They haven't seen all the Christian and Bile against Lester Martinez fight. I've only seen the last 4 rounds of it, but it looked like an absolute war. And it's a shame it couldn't have been the chief support fight on the night, but obviously with Lester Martinez being trained by Bomac, can't have two of you guys fighting back to
No.
back because then you don't get the preparation time with your other person, your other charge. And then Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas Jr. was a pretty ho-hum, boring fight, but Callum Walsh won the fight quite comfortably on points, as I had predicted he would do. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest of fights to watch just before the main event because it didn't really sort of do anything, but yeah, it was a comprehensive enough victory for him. So yeah, those are the only. The only other fight was that the new Saudi Arabia guy
Oh, the
making
one
his
at the
debut.
beginning.
Can't remember his name, but he
The one
he
that
had a
Gallagher
nice
used to
little
make.
he had a nice little 4 round scrap. That I thought
Oh,
was quite enjoyable to watch, and he got the decision. But that was Apart from that, I've still got fights on it to watch back. So now we're all caught up.
Yeah, I saw the highlights of Callum Walsh and Fernando Vargas Jr. Even the dad was saying he thinks his son's behind the card, needs to step it up. But Callum Walsh was, going to the body well, and landing good combinations from the highlights I did see. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention about on the Irish card that Tyrone McKenna stopped Duran again, this time in the seventh, hit him with a double jab,
oh yeah.
straight left hand, took it, he went over very strangely, did a sort of 180 spin, and then he got up on shaky legs, and then McKenna hit him with a flurry, and then yeah, that was all she wrote. Yeah, but well done to Tyrone McKenna.
I thought he'd retired. You know.
This
Same.
is a retirement fight.
Oh, was it? Interesting. The main event then. You know what? How do you think the lead up was for this fight? Like the promo and everything? Because obviously Netflix done it in conjunction with the ring. How did you find the promo for it?
Mm.
I thought it was good. I thought they did in more than enough promo. The events were good. Their little what do they call it, countdown show that they done, the little 2 47-minute episodes, I thought was really in depth.
UFC
It
style,
it
yeah.
felt good.
Yeah, I
What
don't
about the
know.
rest of the card, the undercard though? Yeah, sorry, Danny. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I just it didn't really catch a light for me. No one was talking about any of the fight week stuff. I didn't watch any of the fight week stuff.
That's how I found it.
It just maybe, but I just feel that Dana White, well, he's, embryonic stages. He probably needs to learn how to garner the attention of boxing fans on fight week, because I know UFC famously, they don't really get attention from the fans on fight week. They only start tuning in when it comes to the weigh-in, and everyone's doing all that weird stuff, posing up against each other at the ceremonial weigh-in. But other than that, it didn't. No one was talking about fight week. They were just saying, "Oh, you watch it." People would say, "Oh, who you got?" Crawford,
Yeah.
just inbox you randomly, like just asking for your predictions. But I tell them, why don't you just tune in into some shows, and you get the predictions there and show some love.
But I
But
saw the fight week stuff and the stuff beforehand, the promotional content. Were you not looking for it?
But you don't usually need to look for it because
Well,
it did.
you kind of do. The only reason you don't is because you're already tuned into a lot of the boxing channels. But remember, this is Netflix. This isn't the Zone. This
Yeah,
isn't.
and I'm a huge Netflix fan when it
The
comes to
stuff was
boxing.
plastered on the front of all the Netflix.
Or yeah, but
yeah,
I'm
that's
looking at
true.
like the social media point of view, like Danny was bringing out about Dana White, TKO. Probably need to look at bringing it to the forefront of that. Yeah, it's all over Netflix, but when it comes to like the normal social media, like I said, when like Matchroom or
Instagram.
Instagram or whatever are throwing out 100 posts a day, it never gave that energy. So, like I said, it didn't catch a light on the first thing that you go to open, which is like your Instagram or your Twitter. Netflix is there, not disputing that. Documentaries, all of that, lovely. But the promo on social media, just to me, just like I said, it wasn't there.
Mm.
Do you know
And
what I
then
mean?
it felt also a bit, the press conference, there was nothing really of note to take from it other than when the reporter started ambushing Dana. So it was never really about the fighters. I can't give you one quote from either fighter on that stage. It was all really center of the spotlight was on Dana, really.
Oh, I would disagree with that. Apart from Sean Zeitel, no one else, none of the other like people who ask questions asked Dana anything. They were always speaking to Canelo and Crawford or Bomac and Eddie Reynoso.
But
Sean
what
Zeitel's the only person that asked Dana any questions.
I know, but I'm saying out of the press conference,
What
there was
catch
no
fire?
clips or highlight reels out of that press conference posted anywhere
Except for
except
I
for that
saw
bit.
Crawford with the whole "you guys are gonna be crying later." I saw clips of that
I didn't.
what
No.
on the main channels
on
on the
socials. Yeah.
What,
okay.
Instagram?
Well, I don't watch them on Instagram. I didn't look on Instagram for that. Like my Instagram isn't really tailored towards boxing, so I
Twitter?
have to actually
Well,
search.
that's what I'm saying. Most people is so that's where we usually see the
No, but what
content.
about Twitter? Was it on Twitter?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. I saw the stuff on Twitter. I saw it on YouTube. I saw it, and like all of those channels there, like the places where I actually go for my boxing stuff. Like I said, for me, Instagram isn't one of
Okay.
them, but I saw it on all of those socials.
Okay, maybe my algorithm's a bit different, but I didn't see
No,
any.
not well now because I didn't see because I look for my boxing content on Instagram, not necessarily Twitter. I'll go to Twitter. I treat Twitter like a newspaper. So if anything's controversial or anything's happening, you'll find it out on Twitter. But for like fight news, fight week, fight clips, fight interviews, that's all Instagram. That's how I get my content, and that's what I was saying. It just felt as if it wasn't there, and I'm not the only one that's picked up on that. But like you said, it's in its embryo stage. It's new, it's fresh, and we'll see how it goes moving forward. And it was interesting to hear what that journalist said, and I'm really interested to know if he actually got accredited to the fight after that because he went straight for the neck. He didn't care. But other than that, the fight was better, even better than I thought it would be. I was swaying in the wind. I couldn't make up my mind who was going to win. First, I said Crawford, then I said Canelo, then I went and watched Madrimov Crawford, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. So I was all over the place. But then watching the fight, to me, it was a shutout because Terence Crawford's feet are phenomenal, and I didn't realize how good his feet are. He was that lateral, continuous lateral movement that he expressed and the way that he can punch on the move. I don't think I'd really appreciated that from Terence. It was a masterclass. The rounds just flew by. Canelo, as you could see, was getting frustrated. He did the usual shoulder pickup that he does. I think he did that with Dimitri Bivol, albeit he was really respectful after the fight. They were respectful during the fight, to be fair. But Terence, his punches, his accuracy, the punching through the guard, punching on the move, lateral steps, rolling under the shot, sorry, and making Canelo have to continuously turn and reset. It was an absolute phenomenal fight to watch. I enjoyed every single minute of that fight, every single minute.
Yeah, um, with that fight, it was. I predicted that Crawford was going to win on points.
Okay.
The reason being is because I felt for a while the same reason why I thought Benavidez would always beat Canelo if they ever fought is because Canelo's output compared to when he was in his 20s
Okay.
has dipped dramatically. But I will say that this fight, this is probably the best Canelo I've seen in about 2.5, maybe 3 years.
Mm.
So it shows he was really up for this fight and he really trained his heart out for it.
Mm.
But Crawford, masterful boxer. I like the way even when he defends kind of like how Michael Watson did. He doesn't do that. He does that where they said that it's the way it cushions punches, so he's able to take sting out of the shots. People talking about he gets hit with the right cross all the time in fights. He didn't really get hit with that many of them. He got hit with a couple, but when you go out in the rain, you're going to get wet. Combination punches, hitting downstairs, the way he's shaping up like Sugar Ray Leonard, on the move,
Yeah.
uppercuts on the inside, uppercuts
Oh
and hooks,
God.
and then going down to the
Sweet.
body. Canelo,
Sweet.
he was going for his trademark, hooks to the body at first, trying to bully up Terence
Wasn't
Crawford.
working.
Yeah, it just wasn't working.
No.
Even towards in the middle of the fight, he picked up Crawford, to show like, yeah, I'm the henchman. But then Crawford then started to, turn him and lift him off of one foot to say, yeah, don't worry, I've got that wrestling experience. If you want to do the wrestle thing, we can do that wrestling thing. So, what was it? Round 9 was when it really started to explode into action, where they both started trading, and Crawford got the better of the
Oh,
exchanges, hitting him with whipping shots.
listen.
Canelo has got a iron chin, always has done. Great chin,
Mm.
great legs, sturdy, and
It's like
yeah,
a tree and
yeah, he's like a tree trunk. And towards the 11th and 12th, you could see the frustration really set in, and he was doing that thing even in the 12th round. He tried to do the trademark turn, but Crawford still caught him. And then you see there's a little
there's a
video
picture,
reel there,
yeah.
like, oh wow, go on. I was like, oh, yeah, look
Yeah.
at that. Like, because
Yeah,
he
I've
normally
seen that. I
always
like
gets
that picture.
yeah, he normally gets out of the way of it. But now, Terence Crawford is definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. I had it 117, 111, so 9 rounds to 3 for
Mm.
Crawford. Yeah, the cards was closer, but when you're dealing with Canelo, the cards are always going to be a 115, 113. They gave Bivol 115, 113 3 times. One judge even gave Mayweather a draw when I had that as a complete shutout. So, Crawford's actually got the best set of cards against Canelo out of anyone
Mm.
who's beaten him. So yeah, well done to Terence. 38 in a couple of weeks. People thought he'd be too old, too
Yeah.
small, too inactive, and the only person who's able to do that, jump up 2 weights after being out for a year or so, is the last time I saw that happen was when Sugar Ray Leonard jumped up 2 weights to fight Marvelous Marvin Hagler after a year of being inactive, and then beat him on points also. So it was very reminiscent. He's the
Mm.
first man to be a free weight undisputed champion since Henry Armstrong. Um, yeah,
So that's Hall of Fame material right there,
yeah,
isn't it?
and that was in 1938. So we're
Mm.
pushing
Oh,
we're pushing nearly
100
90
years.
years. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? So people, for me, I would like to see Terence Crawford just sign out now. He's clocked the game. He's done bonus levels. Um, yeah, my
It
boy
looks like
Errol.
he's got so much to give, though.
I know, but sometimes just leave on top in it. What? Because who? I
Right.
can't even think of who there is to fight at super middle now. Because they were saying, "Oh, you're going to jump down to 154 to fight Boots Ennis." He said, "No, I ain't doing that because what's losing a
What's the point?
stone? Losing a stone is not good. You can't. That's when it starts getting dangerous, and you get hit with
Mm.
a shot you would have took easily years ago, and then all of a sudden you're wobbling, and it just gets a bit silly." So yeah, man, well done to Terence Crawford. Canelo was very respectful in
Oh, it
defeat.
was beautiful.
He said that he tried his hardest. He couldn't do it. His body couldn't do it, and he's
Mm.
just too good. Said that Crawford was better than Mayweather in his opinion, and very respectful in defeat. I'm seeing people putting like little picture memes out with Canelo as a baby, and then you've got Mayweather,
Mhm.
Terence Crawford, and Dimitri
Oh,
Bivol
well, that
lined up. And I'm like, I see this in a boxing group full of loads of ex pros and stuff like that. And I'm like, why are you putting people up? I'm like, why are you not laughing at things like that? If you can say when your career's done that, yeah, out of 68 fights, I lost 3 times, and
yeah,
then someone goes, "Oh, well, who beat you?" And you say, "Oh, well, Floyd Mayweather, Dimitri Bivol, and Terence Crawford." How can
yeah.
you laugh at that? I said, "You man all laughing. You got beat by lesser men. So what are you laughing at?" And then all of a sudden in the voice notes, "Yeah, you real talk, Danny, real talk." I thought you should feel ashamed of yourself. You man
Yeah.
are fighters, and you're doing this to one of your. I
The
thought we were meant to be a fraternity club, brothers.
the
You know.
devil makes work for idle hands, man, and sheep will be sheep.
Yes, my uncle Raymond taught me that like that's great saying there. So yeah, big ups.
Yeah. Suffice to say, I picked Crawford to win. I saw all the ways he could. I did think it would end up being a split decision. I did think Canelo would get a card somewhere in there. But Crawford pretty much pitched the ultimate shutout, bar 2 rounds. I had it 110, 118 to Crawford on the
Mm.
night. I think the only rounds I gave Canelo was, I think I gave him the third. No, I gave him the fourth, and I think I gave him the fifth. And then other than that, gave Crawford everything else. I know some people potentially gave him the first and the second. I think Ring IQ did. So looking at that, maybe the 112, 116 card is possible to see. But yeah, the fact that I said to people from day dot, people thinking that Canelo might technically be the bigger guy in terms of structure and frame, but when they say
Mm,
he's going to be the bigger, stronger man, no, he's not. I said that from day dot. I said if they get into clinches, Canelo's going to be shocked to the fact that he can't do anything with Crawford in the clinch. And then every time he tried in the fight, with the first one even happened in the fifth round, the way Crawford spun him and pushed him towards the ropes, Canelo didn't even bother try clinching again. He realized that
yeah.
wasn't his game. Hence why I even said in my predictions video, like the best tactic for Crawford, rather than trying to play that outside and potentially get tired, because bear in mind we don't know how he's going to be with another stone on him, like having to go 12
Mm,
rounds. He might be make more sense to hit and then get on the inside and actually employ tactical clinching throughout the fight to make Canelo tire out quicker. Because we all know that he tries to manage and reserve his gas tank and his energy, which ultimately from about round 7 or 8 onwards, you could really see all he was actually doing is just trying to find one shot at a time.
yeah.
Because
Mm,
he was trying to do not combinations, but he was trying to be more active earlier, and then he just kind of realized, okay, the movement's one thing. I'm not having the success. I'm throwing these shots, they're not landing, and I'm getting tired because they're not landing. So let me try and manage these and just see if I can pick up one or two here or there. You get Crawford there, even on the inside trading in the phone booth. And Crawford, he's hitting, he's landing quicker, he's moving, he's actually getting out of the way of the shots that are coming back. Whether he's got the earmuffs or he's moving from side to side, that he's blocking
mm,
pretty much everything. He was razor sharp. He was switched on. It was almost like he had it was almost like he had like Daredevil radar, like just seeing everything coming. Spider sense, everything, saw it in slow motion, barely took any shots. It was just a masterful performance. It was a performance I knew he could do. It was a performance I was expecting, and congratulations to him. And what I will say, Henry Armstrong's obviously that's one thing, but he is, and this is where we're going to get into some territory right now. So he is the only person in the four belt era to be a free weight undisputed champion, no vacancies. And I've put in that in there especially because the other person who quote unquote is three weight can't they don't get a chance to enter this conversation.
Oh, I saw that tweet.
It's not even the thing is it shouldn't even be worth discussing. But if you are undisputed in three weight classes, but you had 8 belts given to you as vacant titles that were just added to your fights, I don't want to hear from you. So yeah, the only person of any note to do it, Terence Bud Crawford. Salute to him. I think he will fight again once more. I think
mm.
he's gonna go down, but he's gonna go down to middleweight. And I put on my stream yesterday, if I was him, I'd go down to middleweight and take on Erislandy Lara, who is probably the best skilled fighter at middleweight at the moment as the champions, but the most beatable. Because you deserve an easier touch. Like you could probably beat Yanni Beck, you could probably beat Adames, but I reckon that ultimately Lara, the guy that obviously came from 147 and 154 as well, it makes sense. A slightly smaller guy, match your wits with him. If you beat him, then you're a 5 weight champion, 3 times undisputed.
Wait.
No one's talking to you. I mean, no one's talking to you anyway, but no one's really talking to you then.
And I
And
don't want to hear nobody crying about no old man business either when he beats Lara.
yeah, and at this point in time, it's only between him and Usyk in terms of who's pound
Mm,
for pound number one. Maybe they're 1A and 1B, or maybe they both can just share it, and then you get a new A as number three at the time. But yeah, he's gone up there. He's done what he needed to do. Less activity than Canelo, older than Canelo, technically the smaller man than Canelo
yeah.
in terms of like frame. Yeah, so every conceivable disadvantage was to him, but greatness finds a way, and that's what we aspire to do. Shout out to T Bud.
Future Hall of Famer for sure. That needs to
Yeah,
be getting written up as we speak.
and for
But we're
Canelo
gonna,
as well. And also,
yeah,
I do rate Canelo
yeah,
as the
same,
greatest Mexican fighter of all time. I know people,
same.
the old timers, love to talk about Julio Cesar Chavez. No, let's stack up the resumes. Canelo's is better. He is better than Julio Cesar Chavez. If you put them in together, prime for prime, Canelo would win. Facts.
There you have it. Danny said it, so it's got to be true. We're going to head over to Japan, and I'm not even going to pretend I watched the card because it took me ages to find out that it was actually on Facebook. I was trying to look for it on Sky. Then I went onto Top Rank YouTube channel, but fortunately, I used my brains and went onto Top Rank Instagram, and that's where I found out that it was streaming on Facebook. Guys, did you watch any of the undercard? Because I was like in and out of consciousness as I am at the moment, can't even get my words out with
I
any of
haven't
the other
watched the
fights.
undercard yet. I was out, so I made sure just to watch the main event. But I'm gonna watch the undercard later on.
No, I didn't see
So
that
the
one.
main event, do you want to lead with the main event and I'll go after?
Go for it, Danny.
Yeah, the main event. Just like you, I was first of all, I went onto Sky Sports. Went
Yep.
on to, I went onto a device of mine. I thought maybe it's on because I didn't know which channel picked it up, so I tried to go through some international playlist. I couldn't see
You
nothing.
didn't, but anyway, we digress, yeah?
Oh, yeah, an international playlist on Spotify, and then I asked my comrades on Twittex, "Where is the fight?" And then somebody said it's on Facebook. So I thought, "Wow, okay." So then I tuned in, and needless to say, yeah, the build up, I saw that MJ Akmadaliev, he gave Inui and his dad
Yeah.
the traditional
Gifts.
Uzbekistan robes, which was very, very nice, good pleasantries. The build up was nice and positive. But then we got into the fight, especially with all this build up that Inui's ducking and this and that, and MJ, he's going to
Ooh,
be
the
doing this, he's going to
propaganda
moonwalk
around
on
that.
him. He's going to moonwalk him. But then we got into the fight now, and it just seemed like he got hit with something. All of a sudden, he just wanted to resort to he went kind of, I wouldn't say Paul Butler, but it was definitely, oh,
Wishy
I'm gonna be the first man in 6 years to go the distance mentality, because he wasn't really, in my opinion, he didn't. He landed a couple shots. So I'm not saying he Paul Butler like literally ran around the ring, but a lot of the time he was, at first I'd say in the early rounds he had some ambition, but what happened, he started getting countered a lot. He started getting countered with the like almost a pull counter over the top. And what I'd say which is good about Inui and what's been favorable to him is that he has fought quite a few southpaws as of recently. So the southpaw element which MJ would use on others, which might be difficult, Inui is, you know, dealt with quite a few times in recent years. So it's not something that was ever really going to be an issue for him. So Inui, he was landing some nice counters over the top, hitting some 1-2s. In the middle of the fight, MJ Akmadaliev was then calling Inui in like, let's trade. But then when Inui then started hitting him with shots, and then he would back off, and then Inui's like, yeah, well, come on, let's engage then. And it just seemed like he wasn't really on it.
Mm.
And it just becomes sort of very one-sided in my opinion. And then only in the last round, MJ towards the end hit him with a big shot. The commentators thought that he wobbled him. I'm not sure. Yeah, it sent some spray off his head, but I don't think he was in real too much trouble, because when he did throw another hook, he did that thing like the Matador thing and just coasted, and it was pretty um, straightforward, easy night's work, I think, for Inui. Like, took a couple of
Mm.
shots here and there, a couple of hooks, but he was never in any trouble, and he was very dominant, boxed, and yeah, MJ can say that he went the distance, but other than that, it didn't really. It weren't a fight where everyone was like, it wasn't what I expected to happen. But in my opinion, I still feel that if Junto Nakatani gets him with Inui, I think he will be the guy
He
to
was
finish
there in
him
the
up.
crowd, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, fight played out pretty much as I had expected. And the thing is, you say, Danny, that MJ felt like he was just happy to go the distance. No, that's just how he fights. Like Akhmadaliev, if you've watched enough of his fights, he is a very low output person. He just tries to find that perfect shot.
No.
Unfortunately, this is just a time when he's actually been in the ring with someone that is like two speeds ahead. Like he's at standard play, and the new way is moving in fast forward, and he
Mm.
wasn't used to that level of speed difference. So yes, he was getting hit with certain shots, but he was still being hit with shots, and then trying to reset, trying to at some points beckon Inoue to come in because he was hoping, all right, if he throws a shot, I can try and catch him on the counter, and then I'll take him out afterwards. He was looking for the perfect shot all night, and ironically, I said that what I predicted though was that he might hit Inoue, hurt Inoue, maybe somewhere to middle, possibly early to middle rounds, but Inoue will come through it, work around him, and then MJ won't get the opportunity to hurt him again, or when he tries to hurt him again, he doesn't have the same level of success, but he'll end up not getting it on the cards because he just didn't do enough work. And
Mm.
ultimately, a new way kind of changed that trajectory in the fact that he just basically boxed almost perfect fight. He stood in the pocket at times and took shots just to kind of prove, look, I can take your power. I'm not gonna be stupid and stay here, but I'm gonna take it, and then I'm gonna fire back. There's a couple times when MJ was going to actually shoot a shot, and then Inoue just the quicker hands actually caught him before the shot he was even loaded up, and Akhmadaliyev's looking like, what the hell was that? How did that
Where's that
happen?
come from?
And it was just
Yeah.
one of those ones. He just didn't have the speed to be able to keep up with him. The timing wasn't there, and ultimately that's because Inoue stays extremely active. MJ, because he's waiting for this quote unquote a new way fight and payday or whatever it is fighting like once a year or once every 11 months, which for someone like him that relies on that timing and that accuracy isn't good, especially when you've had so many amateur fights and you're used to basically fighting in tournaments every couple of months. Now you're at a stage where you're having 11, 12, 13 months out of the ring. It's just not the right conditioning. But I knew it would go the distance because I knew that Inoue wouldn't have the necessary punches to catch him where he can't see the shot coming. And I trusted that he had the chin. But I thought he would do damage. But by the time he gets to the end of the fight, he'd kick himself saying, I just didn't work hard enough, similar to the Marlon Tapales fight. And in that last round, he did hurt Inoue with the shot. But
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
if he had have caught him with the second looping right that he tried to catch him with, I think Inoue probably may have taken a knee or he would have got buckled, but it was right towards the end of the round. So
It's
even
13
if he got
seconds, I
buckled,
think.
he's always composed enough to be able to get back to his feet, and then the fight would have been over. Worst case scenario, he would have lost the 12th, and then the scorecards would have maybe been 116, 111 or something like that. But I wasn't scoring it, but it seemed to me 110 to 118 was fair. 111. I mean, sorry, 109 to 119. MJ getting three rounds on one of the cards was surprising to me, but fair enough. I can see some. I can maybe see why because of the actual power of the shots that he landed in those, but ultimately he was never in the fight because he just doesn't work hard enough. He started too late, and then by the time he realized that the speed difference was as it was, he didn't make the necessary adjustments, and then was just hoping for the one counter, similar to what Canelo was doing with Crawford. As we
Okay.
see, when you've got people that have got speed, IQ, and just the talent at the same of you, those deficiencies they get shown up in a very bad way. So MJ, unfortunate, when if Inoue decides that he wants to move up at some point, maybe you can become a champion again, or maybe you move up to 126, where you can be the quicker and faster guy to maybe the slower plodders up there and see how you get on.
Yeah, I can't really add anything different to that, really. I like that his name suits him, the monster. He is very fast. And like you said, MJ, at Medaliev, sorry, just didn't have anything for him. There was that last. I was listening to the corner of Akhmadaliev, and they were just like, "Yo, you got to start letting your hands go. You got to wake up." It's almost like he fell asleep in the fight, and they was trying to push him to obviously be more active. But like you were saying, base, it's like it's all right talking about it, but when you've got that whippersnapper running around you and punching your lights out, even before, like you said, you get to pull a shot to him, it's too much. It was just too much for him. But fair play to him. Anyway, the monster, the name suits him. And I saw, is it Juntao Nakatani just sat there in the audience, like, yeah, I'm up next. And I like that. It was nice. Crowd was lively in Japan as well, to be fair. Frank Smith went over there. Obviously, a short flight. He's got to go back. I think Eddie Hearn was asked why they didn't mention it, and he says, "Well, we've got nothing to do with the promotional side, so we've kind of like took a step back." But obviously, Frank Smith went out there for a bit of moral support, and that was the end of that.
Yeah,
Inoue possibly fighting in Japan in,
December.
but I'm trying to think who is he supposed to be fighting. I think it's not Cardenas because that's who we fought last time.
No, is it Picasso?
That's it, yeah, Alan Picasso.
Yeah.
He's the next mandatory for the WBC.
Oh,
Yeah, he normally does around Boxing Day, New Year's Eve. That's his normal schedule. He likes to give. There must be something in Japan why they like fight nights around
the
that
national
type of time.
holiday, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, as Philip Hanser said, in the first round when Inui hit MJ in the opening round with a jab, and MJ took a stumble back, he knew it was going to be a masterclass. But that was a theme. A lot of the fights over the weekend, a lot of similarities happened. Like there was a time when Canelo tried to rush in on Crawford, and Crawford hit him with that power jab, the one that dropped my boy. And I know Canelo felt that because his head really lifted, and you don't really see his head get lifted because he's got one of them brick necks. So it shows you the power of the stiff arm jab that Crawford's got. And then also a lot of the fighters this weekend was looking for this home run one hit wonder, i.e. Lewis Crocker, i.e. MJ Akhmadaliev, i.e. Canelo Alvarez. So it was a common theme, quite some of these things. People weren't working hard enough, i.e. Ishmael Davis, i.e. Lewis Crocker, in my opinion, even though he did get the win, i.e. MJ Akhmadaliev. I won't say Canelo didn't work hard enough because he was trying, and as I said,
Yeah.
better Canelo I've seen in the past 3 years. So you definitely got to give Crawford credit because it's not like he fought a proper like the one I've seen as of recent. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this evening, guys. Unless you've got anything else that you want to touch over. I know it's kind of a compressed short one this evening, but is there anything else that you want to add, guys?
What's the schedule for coming up this month?
I only know the UK one, which is October the 11th. We've got Dave Allen. October the 25th, we've got Parker Fabio. November the 1st, we've got Joshua Buatsi. If it comes to anything else, anywhere else, you guys are
The 11th is also Boots and Lima.
Oh,
so anything for September, or is it a bit shaky this month?
20, isn't there something on the 25th
of September?
Yeah,
I know we've got the 25th of October.
It might be international, but I'm sure there's something on the 25th.
Well, anyone in the comments, if you know, please let us know. If you're watching the playback, let us know also, because we do read comments and it will help us with our scheduling if we can jump on and do another live quicker than anticipated.
For sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving us your ear rolls and your comments this evening. It's been an enjoyable link up with the guys. It's been a marathon of boxing all through the weekend. I think I'm going to go and get some well-deserved sleep, and I can echo that for potentially Danny and Base. So I'm going to hand over to Danny to say our au revoirs. But until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You've got Base, the Kid, you've got Fight Fan TV, and you've got myself, October Red. Get over and subscribe to the channels. And Maestro as well. I thought he might have popped up today, but he hasn't. It's one of them. We'll see what I'll go on with him whenever. Maybe he'll come back for Christmas. Who knows? But yeah, Danny, I'm going to lay it back over to you. No pause.
Come on. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to Fight Talk Live. And there you have it. It's another episode of Fight Talk Live. Something in glory. What was it? What was it in glory?
Sadness in glory.
Sadness and glory. It's Fight Talk Live. It's Danny Glover. It's Base the Kid. It's October Red. And remember, guys, persistence beats resistance. You know where it is.